Okay, buddy. Go. Go. Welcome back to Oxford Ponies and Sport Horses. This morning I am dealing with Cade. This is his second round penning session. I've stepped up the energy a level here. I really want to work today on raising his energy and then bringing it back down. So one of the techniques that we use is to help horses manage their own energy in and out of the paddock and shows and all sorts of different circumstances, is they need to be able to learn how to, when their energy is raised, how they can then manage it themselves and bring it down. So we do quite a bit of that here, and you'll see specifically I get him
Good boy.
working quite a bit, get his energy raised,
Out.
and then we start doing some different exercises.
So he wants to be over there, so pressure him there. Pressure him there.
So as you can see, I'm not really even asking him to change directions very much at the moment. I'm actually just working more on, oh, there we go. So I asked him to change directions, and instead he tried to turn to the outside. Now he's thinking about it. So I'll move him around again, give him another opportunity, and he's going, what am I supposed to be doing? There we go. Change directions, turning in. So that was the thing. See how I put more pressure on him, and then he started going, oh no, I don't know how to manage myself. I'm going to start turning to the outside rather than using the thinking side of his brain and turning in. So more pressure, we need him to still be thinking.
Yes. That way, good mate.
Now again, I don't really have any goals or expectations. This is a second round penning session, and they usually do always sort of go back a little bit sometimes, especially at the start. It takes a little while for them to remember their last training session. And here, see, now he's going, oh, hang on a minute. I kind of remember what I'm supposed to be doing. Turn this way, don't turn out. And now
Come
follow.
on. Good man. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. Good mate.
And now I just keep spiraling around. He was doing a lot of licking and chewing. And so I'm just really getting him to go, oh yeah, this is the easiest thing to do, is just to follow nicely. I love this, how he slows right down, matches my pace. And then when I speed up, he comes back. It doesn't speed up as much, so I change him directions. There we go. And a nice stop.
No. Come on. You're not really even sweating, are you? Hey? Gonna rub him.
So now I'm just doing some desensitizing to the whip and just actually desensitizing to me having higher energy. I hadn't asked him to run around. He's done that by himself. So I'm just going to change tacks because he really didn't like the full whip. I thought he might have been able to handle it just knowing because he was so chill, but no. So we're going to go back to some desensitizing and just backing him out of my space when he's not been asked to come in. And all of this is just great. Like all of this licking and chewing, we like that. Always looking for signs of relaxation. So when he relaxes, I take away the pressure, take away the flag. See how he's coming into my space there? I draw the circle, just be like, right, we need to do some backing up. And then more desensitizing. It really is just a balance and you having these conversations of getting them sensitive enough to listen to you, to move when you ask them to move, where you want them to move, and then desensitizing them enough so that nothing else makes them move. I do like this. His whole focus, he's much more focused on me than he was in the first session. He's much more inside the arena, inside the round pen than he was in the first session. I can't from memory think what's going on around outside, but there's always things going on around outside this arena. There's deer roaring across the other side of the paddock. There's cows behind those trees over there. There's people coming in and out with horse floats, and people walking around. It's just a constant. So I've just raised my energy there really to see how he reacts and make sure that he's not just. See, he just doesn't care. He's great for a 3-year-old. I mean, this is spectacular.
Go. Up. Go. Good boy. Up. Go.
So I know that he knows direction. So now I've got him on a line. It was interesting to see. He's not a puller. He's not going in a perfect circle, but he's definitely, and he sort of thinks about not wanting to change direction. I use the fence in a couple of places to get him to change direction a lot smoother. And he's constantly asking, like, can I come in now? Can I stop? Because he knows that the best place
Go.
to be
Good boy.
is by me. So there I was using the fence to get him to change his front end over, so do a four-quarter yield rather than yielding the hindquarters to turn him. It's easier to get a hindquarter yield than it is to get a four-quarter yield, but once they start
butt.
doing the four-quarter
Go.
yield,
Up.
you get a lot more respect.
Look at the butt. Go. Good mate. And through. And that way. Good mate. Yes.
So now I've just switched it up with some sending exercises, just sending in between me and the fence, getting lots of changes of direction. And he's handling it really well. I think I stop him here, he's doing really good.
Good man.
Yeah, look at that. All the licking and chewing. He's quite a confident horse, very settled in his own energy. Considering how much or how little handling he's actually had over the past or over his entire lifetime. Um, yeah, he's just a stunner. I think this is why I do love the standard bred crosses. They have a brain, most of them. Touchwood, some of them probably don't, but the ones that I've come across do, which I love. So just more desensitizing, making sure he stays out of my space when I stop. really whipping the whip. Remember he was running around the first time I started whipping the whip like that. He started running around. Now he's just standing. There we go. We put a lot of energy into it. Rub him down. And I think we actually get to a good point where I think I'm just whipping it around and he's just standing there. He's realizing, yeah, okay, if I stand here, I do some jumping. This is always the fun part. You always look like an idiot when you're jumping around your horses.
Good man.
So basically, I just keep jumping until he stops jumping. There we go. And until he relaxes. So the signs I'm looking for, just to cover them off, are licking and chewing, lowering the head, relaxing the back or cocking the back leg, deep breath.
You want to go
And sometimes slow blinking as well.
Back.
But also, if you're doing an exercise and they're just standing still quietly for 20 seconds, 15, 20 seconds, then that's enough to be able to go on, stop, take the pressure off, and move to the next exercise.
Right here.
So this is where I'm teaching him, I'm just showing him to lower his head. So when we're in the saddle eventually and I'm bringing attention into his body in different areas, but when we're in the saddle, I want a little button up the top that I can touch that basically says, hey, you can relax here, and he'll lower his head a little, and that gives their body the sign too that it's okay and it's safe to relax. And you can use that in heightened energy situations. If another horse is freaking out and he's like, oh, what are we supposed to be freaking out about? You can push your button in the saddle on the neck and he just, oh, I know Mum says it's okay to relax. Or my rider says it's okay to relax. And then here I'm starting a backwards relaxation pattern with him. So all I'm doing is getting him to cross his hind legs, which is actually the break in the pattern. It's like the start, so the reset to the pattern. I'm jumping again. So the relaxation pattern, though, is you cross the hind legs in either direction, and then you want them to take 2 in sync steps backwards. So the horse's brain relaxes when their legs are moving together in sync. So if their right front and their back left step backwards together in sync, and then the next one perfectly in sync as well, you'll see in their body, they come into their body and they find relaxation. And so I raise the energy with 1 exercise, 2 exercises, desensitizing, and then I'll move into a relaxation pattern. There's loads of different relaxation patterns that you can teach horses to do. Depending on the horse, I usually teach, I have 2 go-to relaxation patterns. One is a backward pattern, one is a forwards pattern. The backwards pattern I use for horses that are more forward, if that makes sense. So if you've got a horse who is trying to run over you all the time or come into your space or is pushy, I use a backwards pattern. And it helps that horse find relaxation coming off the energy, removing backwards from the energy rather than pushing through it. And then I do the opposite with horses that are a bit dull or a bit where you have to push them to move forward. I teach them a forwards relaxation pattern. I've got a couple of videos coming up about some halflingers. They look very, very similar, but one is very forward and one is very backwards. And so they're both learning and doing different relaxation patterns. So be sure to check out my other playlist if that's something that will interest you.
You're thinking it's backing up time. It's not. Not backing up time. Backing up is not where we're going with this. He's trying to find the right answer. The answer is just to wait. Good boy and relax. Careful, Onyx. Go back.
So here I just started to notice that my other young horse who's tied up outside of the arena, is starting to get herself into a bit of a mess. And
Do some head shy stuff.
she's mucking around. I continue working, but I do have to end it sort of abruptly, and you'll see me sort of rush off and go and grab her as she's got her leg over one of the ropes. She was great. She stood there, didn't worry about it, but it's just
Not head shy.
it ended the session sooner than expected.
Good boy. Good boy. Good man. Good man. Hang on, Mama. Coming.